While the pursuit in itself only guarantees us opportunities of experience, victory is often seen as when obsession and determination meet. This is the story of 4 Lanes. We as hunters oftentimes encounter an animal once in our lifetime that soon develops into our arch nemesis, an animal or a creature that seems to always be one step ahead of us in that proverbial cat and mouse game. Such is the story of 4 Lanes. The story of 4 Lanes developed in 2017 when I had acquired a small piece of farm property to hunt along a special piece of highway here in Jackson County, West Virginia, Route 56, affectionately known to the locals as the 4 Lanes. It was a unique piece of property in that it transitioned from a bedding swamp area along a creek and bottlenecked into a winter wheat field. That particular summer began just like many others here in Jackson County, West Virginia, where we as a family developed our mineral sites and ran our cameras as a group, and soon we found and developed and identified this particular deer that we later learned to become 4 Lanes. He was an undeveloped velvet deer in July that year, and soon we could see this deer had some serious potential with a massive frame yet to come. Soon after locating 4 Lanes in that initial year in 2017, he disappeared for the summer. When the months got hot, he just simply vanished, and it was on to another farm to try to run our cameras and establish our minerals and get our early feeding done for that particular summer in hopes of establishing an early on shooter for those early weeks in bow season. 2017 was actually good to the Mellinger family. We had a lot of different encounters and a few different kills on film. Coming into rifle season, 4 Lanes reappears. This time he is obviously fully developed and hard-horned. We have tags that's already been filled, but here in West Virginia, the rifle season in a few select counties can be a special time if you allow it to be. During that 2-week period of the West Virginia rifle season in 2017, I elected to monitor that particular transition area from the swampland into the agricultural field. Unfortunately, 4 Lanes was still a nocturnal animal, only giving us just a couple nighttime photographs running from that bedding area to the feeding grounds. As the season soon drew to a close, we realized that that last tag was going to remain unfilled, but it gave us something to target for 2018. That particular winter, we focused on shed hunting as a family, spending time together, and finishing up our camera sessions for the last remaining trail cameras still out in the field. Like them? So, huh? Hold it up there and say. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good one for next year.
Yeah.
Now that's last year's shed, but that's a good one now. That's a, I would say, Logan, I'd say that's last year's shed to the big one you missed this year. Huh? Yeah. Hold it up. Let me see.
Main beam's basically busted off. No.
Well, no, that's where the mice have been chewing on it. That's last year's. Hold that up there.
Push this up.
Yeah, let Peyton take a look at it there. Huh?
I say.
"2018 proved to be a real banner year for the Mellinger family. We again started our summer feeding pattern after running our minerals all year, assembled and hung various tree stands on again new pieces of property, and trying to keep ourselves really diverse in the different stands that we could use based on those particular activities. "2018 was actually very kind to us here during the West Virginia bow season. We filled a lot of tags and spent a lot of time in the stands. After bouncing from stand to stand during the course of the fall, we came to realize that we were still entirely too far from his bedroom, only getting one daylight picture of 4 lanes all season. I actually tagged out that year, punching my final tag with my bow during the West Virginia rifle season. So as that come to a close, I soon turned my attention to the late season, where I set Logan up on hopefully one potential daylight encounter with 4 lanes. But even as the cold fronts and the cold temperature settled in, he still was a nocturnal animal, and we just never could close the deal. So again, 2018 he slipped through, made it to one final year. As 2019 quickly approached, I realized I was going to have to drastically change plans if I ever had hopes of getting a hold of 4 lanes. I acquired a new piece of property. I took a chance and rolled the dice and met with the people that run that undeveloped industrial place next to us on the backside of the swamp. The private ground I had been hunting was such a small piece of property that it just didn't give me the opportunity to crowd his bedroom the way I really needed to. And he knew as long as he stayed in that swamp, he was safe. We completely changed our tactics from the previous 2 years. We moved our mineral sites and moved our cameras 200 yards farther back into that swamp, closer to the bedding ground. I knew this was a game changer. After all the planning, the mapping, and the strategies, I was determined that this was going to be the year that I put the tag on 4 lanes. After the feeding transition moved into the early fall, bow season was still pretty kind to us. We had lots of encounters, lots of good fun with the family, but only until the fall colors had come on and the pre-rut started did 4 lanes then become daylight on camera. As the Appalachian colors began to hit their peak and the pre-rut was soon coming into full swing, 4 Lanes was starting to let his guard down. It was only then that I developed this strategy of popping up a ground blind of what I'd identified as his travel route coming through that swampland into the agricultural fields. I got it brushed in and sat back and waited until I could finally identify a routine pattern in which he was appearing in daylight. That opportunity would soon arise. Greetings, folks. It is November the 14th, and we are staring down the gun barrel of lockdown here in Jackson County, West Virginia. We are just within a few days of these boys shutting her down to do their thing. Skipped out of work just a little bit here this afternoon. We're going to climb in the blind. We're after 4 Lanes tonight. 4 Lanes is the 6.5-year-old arch nemesis of mine. He made a cameo appearance there about 11 o'clock this morning. Got a series of 3 or 4 different pictures of him when he came in this morning. In the first one of the group, he was lip curling with a doe in front of him. So clearly we all know what's on his mind. All we need is just one of the girlfriends to show up at the buffet with him cold trailing behind, and we all know what is likely to follow there. So give us about 30 minutes to get set up, clothes changed out, and we should be in the blind. This was the first time I'd ever laid eyes on him in daylight after 3 years of chasing that critter. I just knew this was the moment of truth. This was the time, this was the moment I've been looking for. For those of us that solo film know and understand and accept those challenges that come with it, we oftentimes have a real problem getting that deer to stop on camera in frame so that we can get that shot off. This whitetail was no different. As he starts to leave, I try to get him to stop in frame so I can get that arrow released. It was then that disaster struck. Meh. Meh. My arrow hit the hub blind and completely exploded, going into what seemed like 1,000 pieces, and my one opportunity that I waited for 3 years was gone. After blowing my one opportunity, depression soon became reality. The only hope was that 4 Lanes could survive not only the rut, but also the nearby highway. As the rumors began to swirl throughout the community about the giant main-framed 8 whitetail skirting the edges of the 4-lane highway, I realized he was really making his rounds and it was time to pull out all the stops. As lockdown had come and went in West Virginia, 4 Lanes soon reappeared on camera, and it was pretty clear he had lost a significant amount of weight. But the key here was he was alive. He was still alive and ready for me to chase again. I took that same ground blind, I backed it up 100 yards and left that area alone. Let it be a complete sanctuary until the rifle season began. I realized that it may not be the way I want it to end, but that was my best opportunity to get my hands on 4 Lanes. It is November the 27th. It's the day before Thanksgiving here, and we're still in the first week of the West Virginia rifle season, and we just actually had our Thanksgiving dinner there at the house. April has to work tomorrow, so we as a family did our Thanksgiving today, and these are less than ideal conditions. Again, it's been a brutal week. Hot temperatures. Now we're looking at sustained 25-mile-an-hour winds. You can probably hear the wind blowing around us. A wise old man once told me, son, you can't kill them laying on the couch. So we're here again. We're going to give it another whirl. As day 3 of the West Virginia rifle season soon came to a close, we were about to catch a break. Thanksgiving Day appears, and this is really what we're looking for. A 25-degree temperature drop, post-lockdown, the deer are hungry, and the activity is at a premium. As the temperatures continued to drop and we were approaching that last magical hour of daylight, I noticed the deer in front of me were beginning to get pretty nervous. I had a feeling this was about to be it. after all that time, all the strategy, all the planning, all the failed plans, and that's how the story ends. I can't believe it. I just can't believe it. My arch nemesis. I've never had to work so hard for a deer in all my life. All the planning, all the strategies, all the late night studying, mapping, scouting, acquiring new land, just to be able to get in on this deer. Not exactly how I thought it would all come together, but it came together. Let's go get after it. All right, it's been right at 30 minutes, and as bad as I wanted to go get my hands on him, I actually waited for Logan. He was hunting another stand, and I can't believe this actually come together. You would think this was a 200-inch non-typical, the way I fantasized over this cotton picking deer over the last 3 years. It's just got, but I can't for the life of me think he's very far, the way he nose planted there in the dirt. So, but anyways, Logan's here now. We'll see what we can do, but I'm sure he's close. He's got to be. That is the proverbial cat and mouse game. Oh boy, that feels good. Oh, that feels good to get a hold of him. Oh, you dirty dog. You know, these old deer like this, they can win 99 times out of the 100. Just as long as you win that 100th one, that's all that matters. Well, my old friend, I told you one day I'd look you right in the eye and tell you how much anxiety you caused me, you filthy animal. You know how many sleepless nights I've had over you? I hope everybody enjoyed the story of 4 Lanes. That particular whitetail will always be special to me. And even though he only taped out at 136 inches, it was that chess match type relationship I had with him that made it all the more special. Thanks again for watching Game Over Outdoors TV. We'll see you again next week.